Guys, today we're here at the Willow Bend Mall. We're going to be exploring the inside of it. They're tearing this down within the next year or so to make place for the new Bend facility where the Dallas Stars will be playing. And a fun fact is this mall was actually the last enclosed mall built in Texas in 2001. But apparently it's like all abandoned. There's only a few stores left, and we're going to go check it out and document it for you guys. All right, so first impression, we just walked into the food court. There's nothing going on in here. Everything is gone. There's no restaurants. Everything's boarded up already. There's nothing here. There's no one sitting at the tables. There's broken light up there flickering. Some cool artwork though up there. I like this skylight up there, but there is nothing at all in here. We'll show you more in the next shot. So this is the first little restaurant segment that we're seeing when we get into the food court. It's all barred up and blacked out in the windows. See if I can see inside it. Nope, it's completely blacked out. Down here, the rest of the food court is also blacked out. There's restrooms, but they're closed off. It says to use the ones on Bridal and Prom and next to Rebel Athletic. So there's only 2 restrooms to use in the whole mall. That's how dead it is now. But yeah, there's no one sitting in here. And this is just completely gutted. Like there's nothing. There is nothing going on. It is all gone. No menus, no sinks, no nothing. There's still security cameras though. I don't know what for. There's nothing to steal back there. Then another restaurant we got here that's just non-existent. Last one on this little segment here. You can't really see on the camera, but very vaguely there's the menu items still there, but it is completely gutted. There's nothing at all in this food court. The only signage left in this whole food court that I've seen is this Eat Yum sign. That's it. This seems to be like it was some sort of pizza restaurant. They got the huge ovens and all this stuff back here, but it's all gone. It's gutted. There's dust in here. A lot of dust. That's nasty. Stuff isn't connected back there in the back. So yeah, already this is pretty much the state of the mall that we're finding it in. I don't know if y'all can see that up there. There's another one that's flickering, but literally all of these lights are like out of order up there. But I do really like that design of that sunroof kind of thing. Gives a lot of natural light. All right, let's go into the shops. It's a bit weird design to have the food court first, but we're going into the shops now and I'll document the rest for you guys. The last bit of the food court, it's just a long blue shelf here with nothing behind it. This little door over there, it says employees only, and then like a little backstage corridor. But yeah, now we're getting into the real shops. We need to see how many shops are actually still open and running. But yeah, as you can see, there's nothing back there. There's just literally one sink. The first stores that we're seeing literally right next to the food court are already barred off and there's nothing here. The windows are all blacked out. Even here on the other side, barred off as well. No signage, no nothing. Can't even see what was here before. And then when you go up here, there's just a little black segment that you can't see through. So yeah, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 stores in the whole mall are already just barred off and completely out of business. This white section, I think they used to use this projector that was up here to project stuff down here that you could walk on, but it is all dirty and not working anymore. First out of business store that we can see into, and it's just empty shelves with like some sort of big sink right there. I don't really know what that is, but yeah, that's the first one that we could see into that's out of business. For the mall, on the lower level, we got Neiman Marcus, which I think is in business. Crate and Barrel, which I think is a restaurant. It says there's a California Pizza Kitchen, a Lens Crafters, Crayola Experience. We're gonna go check and see if that's there. There's a Dillard's, we'll see if that's there. And then the District, which is like new stuff, I think. This is like where all the restaurants that they just added are. A fountain here that is definitely not working. And it looks like it hasn't for quite some time. There's a lot of coins down here, all along the edge of this. But the funniest part to me is it says all coins are donated to the Children's Medical Center. But then if you look over here, there's just coins everywhere, and especially in that little corner over there. They definitely did not donate these coins, and it looks like they've been here for quite some time. First little section, it's our first bit of life that we're seeing here. There's a Swarovski, yeah, that thing right there. Jewelry store, that's open. I see some stuff down there that's open. Then straight across the way past the directory that we just saw is the Neiman Marcus. And then over here to the left, there's Belmont Jewelers, and then there's some more stuff down there as well. So it looks pretty lively over here, but there's not a lot of people actually here. Like the mascot for the store, it says, "Hi, I'm Willow." And it says, "Hey friends, I'm Willow. Together we're going to discover the shops at Willow Bend. We will have tons of fun celebrating our community." That's the little mascot, right behind a out of business Wetzel's Pretzels. That is smelling really disgusting. The cotton candy cloud, it says, "Take a sweet selfie with us." And if you look up there, it says cotton candy cloud. There's this huge vending machine that you pick.
Please present your card or your mobile phone.
And you pick what you want.
I don't really want to.
And then you pay here, and it makes cotton candy in this little machine here. But that's the whole storefront is literally a cotton candy vending machine. That's very weird. So here's the concept art of what they're gonna tear down this mall and create. They're gonna create this place called The Bend. It's gonna be an outdoor shopping mall. Kind of like Legacy West, if you're familiar with the Dallas area, to create room for the Dallas Stars. And it looks like in here there's like tables for the Dallas Stars, and they have like some showcasing artwork. You can't really see it too well in the camera, but there's artwork showcasing what the whole place is going to look like with the Dallas Stars arena in it as well. Front that you can actually see into that is out of business. There's nothing on the walls, nothing at all, nothing on the floor, just lights and some shelves back there. Okay, so we're outside the Crayola Experience right here, and it is closed until further notice. Crayola Experience Plano, closed until further notice. Try and see if you guys can see through here. It seems to be the gift store, but it's crazy. All that stuff is just in there. There's t-shirts, there's silly putty, there's like freaking notebooks, there's crayon packets, there's props back there of like big crayons. It's crazy that they just left that all in there. Even the floor is still themed. Here's where the main entrance was. There's the queue line to get in there. To the left is the ticket kiosk. They have the little bag check station right there. And then there's the little line to get in there. It's crazy. This place has been closed for years, and it's just, all that stuff is still up there. All the stanchions, all the artwork, everything is just up there. And back there at the desk, there's like a huge crayon artwork. I don't know if you can see it. That's crazy. This place has been closed forever, and it's just still there. Here's a whole map of the Crayola Experience. You started at admissions here, which is where we just looked. And you gotta wrap it up, be a star, silly selfies, colossal caddy, and just move around. And you can get up here, and you're all done. But yeah, this is not here anymore. Really small door. I don't know if that's for little kids or what, but that's funny. It's just a little tiny door. The Crayola Experience, there's a huge 2-story lot. It definitely was like a Dillard's or a Macy's or something. And it's just all blacked out and completely closed off. And then over to the next little lot, it says "We Custom Frame." But I don't know what they custom framed here. Maybe shirts, but all of it is just completely gutted. There's a singular little ball on the ground right there, but everything else is completely gutted. I have these tablet strollers here where it's interesting. The seat is like this like kind of rubber mesh material. And you can watch Nick Jr. on this iPad right here while you get wheeled around by your mom for the cheap price of $10. Trying to find like some sort of restaurant or store that's open that we can go interview like a manager or something, see what their thoughts are on how empty the mall is and thoughts on malls coming to a close. But as you can see, literally nothing is open. There's nothing to see. There's an Allen Edmonds store right there. That's all I've seen that's open over here. We went up to the second floor and there's nothing. We thought that there would be maybe some more things open up here, but other than the Neiman Marcus and the Allen Edmonds over there, there's nothing over. It's called Enchanted Fairies. And we walked up here and there's signs that say, "The fairies flew home." They say where to build the packages to, and I think they moved to the first floor, but it's like a portrait store, and I think they moved to the first floor. It's pretty cool. They got like a little ramp up here. Has like some theming to it. Has some creaky wood floors, but it is closed sadly. And I don't think these people listen to the sign because they dropped the packages off here and not at B117. Got the Willow Bend pop-up. It says pop-up here. And you can email for inquiries if you want to, but there's nothing in this pop-up. There's literally nothing. It is just sad to see this. There's nothing going on in this mall. It's sad to see malls like this. Malls were such a big part of my childhood and other people's childhoods, and seeing malls that are like dead and how they're just kind of like going extinct across the country is kind of sad. But we're gonna go try and find an interview and see what some store owners think of it. I was just told by another guest here that this mall allowed walking. So people go on long distance walks here rather than going outside, because outside's obviously 100-degree heat. So people would rather walk inside. And apparently they just allowed dog walking in here. So we've seen a bunch of people walking with dogs, and we've seen a bunch of people walking with like athletic gear, and we were confused because like, why are people walking here? But he was telling us like, this is the best place to walk because there's not any busy traffic going on. You can just walk around. And so they opened it up to the public. Random red door with some like facade and like a fog machine with a gargoyle up here and some lanterns. And you go in here and open this door, and this is creepy looking. There's just like chairs over there. It goes over to the left too, but there's just a random spotlight and some like set design it looks like over there. But yeah, I thought that was really weird. Got the Willow Bend Center of the Arts, North Texas Performing Arts. And they have like a bunch of little performances that they do, and there's some pictures of past performances all along the wall here. And it's cool. I think the theaters are like in there somewhere. All right, I'm gonna walk through the mall now and just kind of let you guys experience it like if you were here. There's an Oxford Street that has a sale going on. It's the only store that's open right here. Everything is closed. Another store's closed. This thing on the right looks pretty cool, but it's also closed. Looks like some sort of like art place. Pipe and palette. And then there's, oh, it goes all the way over here. Whistle britches. And they got some artwork back there. Wow, that's a lot of artwork. It's a cool Charmander. It's only 28 bucks. And there's another store there. All right, so we just went around the Willow Bend Mall. We tried to document as much as we could. Everything was pretty shut down and kind of closed off there. I was trying to find some interviews potentially from store owners, but I didn't really see anyone that looked like they wanted to do an interview. Everyone seemed kind of quiet and like off-put in there. But we're gonna go back, do a little voiceover segment, show you how all these malls around America, how this one and the rest of the country, how they're all dying, and how malls are kind of not really coming to fruition anymore, and it's not really a place for people to go. And how this is going to be turned into a multi-million-dollar facility for the Dallas Stars.
So I was just standing in a mall that used to be one of the most upscale shopping centers in all of Texas. Right now, half the stores here are dark. The other half have vacate notices taped to the glass, and within the next year, most of this building won't even exist anymore. This isn't an abandoned mall in some forgotten corner of the country. This was the last enclosed mall ever to be built in the entire state of Texas, and it's already dying less than 20 years later. So the question isn't really what happened to this mall. It's pretty bigger than that. It's a bigger scale. And we're going to be answering what happened to the American mall overall. To understand the kind of extinction of the malls, you have to understand what exactly went extinct. So between 1956 and 2005, roughly 1,500 enclosed malls were built across the United States. The very first one being the Southdale Center in Minnesota, which opened in 1956. It was designed as a fully climate-controlled indoor town square. And for the next 50 years to follow, that idea was spread across every American suburb. At its peak in the mid-1990s, there were around 2,500 enclosed malls operating in the US. Malls weren't just stores stacked next to each other, they were where teenagers got their first jobs, where families took holiday photos next to the fountain, and where you got your ears pierced, where you had your first date at the food court. For a huge stretch of American life, the American Mall was the public square, and then almost as suddenly as it appeared, they started disappearing. And here's the exact scale of this. From the 1990s peak of roughly 2,500 enclosed malls, the number had dropped to around 700 by 2022. That's nearly a 70% collapse in under 30 years. And it hasn't really stopped at all. No new indoor mega mall has been built in the United States since 2006. Not a single one. As of early 2026, the mall is still landing carry an 8.8% vacancy rate, roughly double the vacancy rate of retail space overall. Last year alone, 2.6 million square feet of mall space was completely demolished and gotten rid of. And when a mall does finally die, it doesn't get torn down right away. The average dead mall really sits empty for almost 40 years before anything happens to it at all. Kind of what we saw with the Willow Bend Mall today. And these aren't fringe statistics. This is a mass extinction event happening in slow motion in nearly every city across America. Now the easy answer you can say for all of this is Amazon. And yes, e-commerce mattered a lot. It pulled spending away from the kind of slow, browsing-based shopping that malls were really built around. But that's only part of the story, and it's honestly the least interesting part in my opinion. The bigger killer was anchor collapse. Malls were built around big department stores like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, Dillard's, because those anchors are what pulled in enough foot traffic to keep the smaller stores around them alive. When those chains started filing for bankruptcy and closing hundreds of locations around the country, they didn't just lose their own stores, they pulled the rest of the mall down with them. A mall is more likely to die once its anchor leaves. And over the last 15 years, anchors have been leaving in big waves. And then you also have the generational shift as well. Younger Americans didn't grow up treating the mall as a destination like people did in the 80s and 90s. To a lot of them, it's their parents' thing, not really theirs. It's a relic from a different era of how people spent their time and their money and their free time. And underneath it all is a mistake that developers were making decades back, which is overbuilding. In the boom years, developers packed way too many malls into the same metro areas, which were all forcing them to compete for the same shopping foot traffic. That's not an abstract idea, and it's exactly what happened to our mall that I was just standing in a few minutes ago. This mall has spent its entire life competing with the Galleria Dallas, Legacy West, and the new Stonebriar Centre, all within a short drive of each other. When you build 4 big malls for a market that can only really support 2, someone has to lose out. Eventually, more than one will end up losing out. Here's what a lot of quote-unquote malls are dying videos I think get wrong, is they treat it like one story. It's actually 2 separate stories. The real estate industry splits malls into tiers based on how much revenue they generate per square foot. There's Class A malls, which are the highest performers and are doing mostly fine, with a vacancy rate of around 5.6%. But then we have the Class C malls, which is the lowest tier, and these have a vacancy rate of 13.3%, almost more than double the Class A. Those are the malls that are functionally dead or on the cusp of it. So it's not that Americans stopped shopping at malls entirely. It's that they consolidated around fewer, better malls and are left the weaker ones out to rot. The mall isn't dying, the mediocre mall is dying around America. Because, let's be honest, why go to a mediocre mall with no-name stores when you could go down the street 40 minutes to Galleria or another store that brings in a lot more appeal? Which brings us back to this. This mall is a Class C mall in real time, losing its big anchors one by one, standing pretty much half empty, and on its own countdown to demolition. And what's replacing it is the exact pattern playing out across the entire country. Nationally, nearly half of all mall redevelopment projects today are mixed use, which combines retail with apartments, offices, or even entertainment space. As of 2024, at least 192 malls across the country were in the process of converting space into housing. Others are becoming medical centers, schools, churches, gyms, or even self-storage facilities. The building doesn't disappear, it gets fully repurposed into something better that matches how people actually live now. That's what's happening here too. This mall is being reimagined into a mixed-use district with retail, apartments, and office spaces, the same pattern playing out in dying malls nationwide. So when you hear people saying malls are dying because of Amazon, that's the easy version of the story, but the real version is about overbuilding, about anchors that couldn't survive their own bankruptcies, about a generation that just wants something different out of public space rather than our parents did. Walking through a place like this, half lit up and half empty, waiting for the wrecking ball, it doesn't feel like the death of shopping. It feels like the death of a very specific idea about what a public space should look like. And whatever replaces it is going to say a lot about what we actually want now. And thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind leaving a big thumbs up on the video, it would help out greatly. And then let me know down below what places you'd want to see me cover next. See y'all.